Alright, timestamp. It is August 23rd, 2026. It's almost midnight. Um, did the mom call this morning? She's good, we're good. I sent her some pictures of what I'm doing with the dollhouse. What I call the dollhouse. I know it sounds really weird coming out of my mouth, right? And she's like, that's incredibly cool. She's like, there's a lot of detail going on. I'm enjoying looking at the background. So that was kind of cool. Not done yet. But yeah, no, it's just Sunday's kind of a, and we're not like honoring the Sabbath or anything like that, but with the mom call early in the morning and all that, we kind of have a rule that Sunday isn't a hardcore like chores day. Once we get things a little bit more stable as far as moves around and whatnot, we'll probably do like a family movie night on Sundays. We haven't been able to do anything like that in quite a while just because. Have you seen the place? Look forward to being able to do that again though. Yeah, that'll be kind of cool. I am sleeping in the master bedroom. Not this second, obviously. With my wife. I did last night for the first time in 15 months. Something like that. You know, not like sleeping with, but like sharing a bed. Almost forgot what that was like. Actually, I kind of did forget what that was like. It's neat. I almost feel like I'm in a couple good thing. Our lives have been so incredibly stupid and sideways the past 3 years. Oh, man. Luckily, I'm keeping my sense of humor. But yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, I just gotta do, regarding stuff that I'm painting, gotta do a gloss coat on a little bit more of that, and it's done. It's my easel placard holder. I don't even know what to call it, actually. I'm really not sure what that would be called. I don't know. My tray is just about done. I'm going to go over it a little bit here and there just to try and make sure I don't have any pink or white showing through. But, I mean, there's a little bit here and there where I'm like, yeah, I can see that. So, we're almost there. The kitchen, that's going to take me a little while. I'm pretty happy with the countertop so far. I'm still touching up the sink a little bit here and there. That's how the marble look turned out. I think it looks kind of fabulous. Considering the plastic. What was it initially? Blue, pink? I don't know. One thing that I'm thinking about here, I'm probably not gonna this second, but I might later down the road. This is supposed to be, make sure I'm not, yeah, it's still has that slightly tacky feel of, I've had a top coat put on the past day or two. Usually subsides, but sometimes it'll have that little sticky feeling. Got to be careful about putting too much pressure that way, because you can actually put like fingerprints and stuff in it if you handle it too hard, too fast. Which sounds like a porn film with Nicolas Cage. Too hard, too fast. And he was gone in 60 seconds. Never mind. So that's supposed to be an oven door, and I'm really thinking about the design on it's kind of weird. I don't know if you can see it. This is that whole LOL, OMG, surprise. Oh my god, you guys. Legally Blonde doll. Chip on my shoulder, something. No, I'm kidding. It's LOL, OMG, surprise. It's the line. I think the dolls are ridiculous, but their props and some of their furniture are actually really quite cool. But anyway, the oven door, you can see it's a rectangular shape, but then there's like a triangle and a triangle, like right triangles that intersect to make the area that would normally be the window of an oven. And I'm thinking about cutting out the top triangle and using a clear plastic, which, like even a yogurt lid or something like that, that clear, fairly rigid plastic, cutting that to match, gluing it on the inside really solid to actually make a window. And I still might do that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and paint it first and get around to that. It's like something to go back to and fine-tune. Because of the two sections that are there, triangle-wise, that one looks like it should be the window. It almost looks like it has shutters or something. It's very strange. I'm not sure what they were going for with the design. Like it has blinds or something. Not like horizontal blinds. I'm not sure exactly what they were going for there. Really thinking about it. But I should finish the paint and whatnot, and then maybe I'll come back to it. Heat up an X-Acto and kind of go in there for surgery. I'm thinking about it. Still doing the Epcot 35. Doing some Harry and David Caramel Pecan, which is fabulous. Oh my god, you guys. Legally Blonde, the musical. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. It's stuck in my head now. Yeah. I did a little bit of sorting today. Got the books on my dollhouse, because the dollhouse, I keep calling them the dollhouses, they're like hutches or whatever. They've got like an area for books, and then a drawer and cabinets, and a shelf up top where I have some grim grinning ghosts hanging out in wicker chairs, because of course I do. I was really happy I picked those up a while back on eBay. Somebody had all three of the Hitchhiker plushes. Good price too. So they hang out up there, because of course they do. But yeah, I've got each one of those hutches has like that shelf in the middle, a bookshelf. Over the past year, I've just been kind of like shoving books onto them, because things around here can be a little... I've got dishes in the dishwasher. Do not adjust your set. So, doing some stuff. I just realized I had a huge amount of white noise going on there. Yeah, I could explain that. But because of how haphazard, slapdash, and downright silly it's been over the past year and change, once I got these into position, actually even before I had them in position, when I got either books from George that I was like, ooh, I wanted to have this out. We're packing a lot of our books because we're going to be a little busy. like our gaming books and stuff. Man, that'd be swell. Probably not going to happen. Kind of got our hands tied. And I don't mean like fun Friday night, kind of. Anyway, just been kind of shoving books there, and as we've gone through the, I don't know, 73,000 books. I don't know how many books. Thousands, 14,000, 20,000. I don't know. A lot of books. Figure all the wood shelves down that one side of the garage were nothing but books. So, how many books does a 24-foot long bookcase that's about 7 or 8 feet tall hold? I'm sure there's some math junkie out there that'd be like, I can figure that answer out with an average thickness of, but yeah. And that's just what was there. There were more in other locations too. I love books, but that's excessive. As is everything around here. But finding some stuff that, we thought was cool, we being Pix or myself, cookbooks that I thought were neat, cookbooks that she thought were neat, some just interesting, skill books, and stuff that we can use with, for gaming research stuff if we're running a game or playing a game. Found a book that was written in the 1960s, and it's basically a completely low-tech book with hand-drawn illustrations, nicely done, not like stick figures or whatnot. But it's all about deer hunting and or trapping and or the preparation of venison, how to clean a deer, from a gaming survival standpoint. It's kind of an interesting book. Talks about different types of bows and arrows and just very, as a gamer, it's this is actually kind of an interesting resource book. Just as one of those kind of examples. I found a pretty thick book that is everything to do with honey, like Winnie the Pooh's favorite pastime, the history of it, what it was used for in, ancient Egypt and everything, different medicinal purposes, cooking. It's it's like a Tom Clancy novel thick book about honey through the ages. Also kind of interesting, some really neat stuff. But not all 73,000 have made us go, we got to keep this. It's been every now and then going through stuff and going, I'm gonna pull that to the side. And then you fill 3 more boxes of, nope, don't care, nope, don't care, nope, don't care, hey, nope, pull out of that. But I do have some cookbooks over there that I'm like, okay, yeah. A couple of crock-pot cookbooks, because we're going to be setting up crock-pot or maybe an Instapot. Because I found an Instapot out there, which I've heard amazing things, but I've not tried yet. It's like a crock-pot on speed, right? Kind of. I've heard it can do everything that a crock-pot can do and more. I don't know. I haven't experimented yet. I'm open to experimentation. Hopefully it'll be gentle. But, a couple of classic cookbooks over there that have, 500 recipes, like classic Southern recipes, chicken fried chicken, chicken fried steak, just, how to make a traditional beef gravy, stuff like that, that doing more cooking from scratch, this is useful. It's not going to necessarily tell me, buy a can of beef gravy. Well, how do I make it? Can I make my own? Of course you can make your own. People have been making their own of that for, at least a few years. But this, a handful of books that actually have that kind of stuff in it. And some of them are older too. They're like 60s, 70s. So it's like using real ingredients, not a lot of the crap you find in stores now. So, and I did keep a couple of cookbooks that are basically like meat specialization cookbooks, because this guy's a carnivore. I'm not on the Atkins diet or anything like that. It's Atkins, right? I'm not on the carnivore diet. I just like it when 80 to 90% of my plate is meat. Yeah, I mean, if you're veg or a vegan, I'm not like a savage. Don't get the wrong idea. But if you're like a veg or a vegan or something like that, my eating habits might upset you. They might. I mean, I will sit down and enjoy a bowl full of broccoli with like some ranch dressing, but I can just as easily kill off 4 or 5 chicken drumsticks. Be pretty happy about it. But smattering of cookbooks that I found that I'm like, ooh. There's another 27,000 that got hacked and went that way. Because no, absolutely not. I do not need 400 cookbooks about desserts. I don't need it. And this one kind of bothers me just on a fundamental level, and I'll explain why. Like, probably at least 500 cookbooks that are basically cookbooks for a diabetic. Independent ones, Betty Crocker, Better Homes and Gardens, Cooking Light, just every name brand, and lots of private ones about diabetic cooking. It's one of the things that pretty much killed my mom. And I guarantee she had more diabetic cookbooks than the average person would in their cookbook collection. It's like an angry irony that I have on this one. It's just like, clearly you understood that this was important, That's just some of my anger coming out. You were well aware that you weren't eating right. Otherwise you wouldn't have picked up all these cookbooks as though it was a good idea to have them. Meanwhile, you stress out when you can't go to Village Inn on Free Pie Day. Tell me again how you're taking your eating habits seriously. True story. But yeah. So, pulled a few books here and there, and there's some crafty books too. There's a couple of books on woodworking. Again, for our own personal use and also from a gaming standpoint, research. Some interesting stuff to have. Quite a few books on antiques too. Excuse me. Antiques and or art. Some interesting stuff, but not keeping. Did I mention my parents were hoarders? I think you figured that out if you're unfamiliar with this channel. Yeah, they're hoarders. And my wife and I are both well-read and avid readers, but no, no, absolutely not. Again, 24-foot long bookcase, and that was like the deep storage for books. There were books throughout other areas of the house too. Every one of these hutch type things, and there's about 15 to 20 similar types of furniture pieces throughout the house. Yeah, about that. Um, Everything that is a what you would consider a bookshelf had books on it, and they still had like stacks of books. There's stacks of books on the lanai, which are moldy and destroyed, that are going to wind up going in a dumpster probably eventually, because you, books can't come back from that. You know, this roof of the lanai got pulled away from the house during Hurricane Milton, and as such, most of the things, and oh, it's full, and it's 40 or 50 feet wide and 15, 20 feet deep. It's a big slab of concrete that was covered by a metal roof that got pulled away from the roof of the house because hurricane. Anything that isn't waterproof that is on the lanai is probably destroyed. We found a few tubes of old posters, like movie posters and stuff from the 80s and 90s. Real shame, would have been valuable. Destroyed. Destroyed. Stacks and stacks of books. Destroyed. Some nice wood things. Destroyed. There's a pattern, in case you weren't sure. There's some glassware. Okay, that survived. Because it's porcelain, it can get wet, you know. But yeah, I mean, we got issues. I just don't want to spend the next 5 to 8 years de-hoarding my parents' house. Not down with that. Nope. It does not sound like something that I want to do. So, I did get a call from the facility where my dad is. This is worth bringing up. And I was informed that he is throwing up and or having severe diarrhea. Back of my mind, I'm thinking, you gave him lettuce. Because just from a historical timestamp standpoint, in case you're watching this in 2043, there's a something virus that has affected a lot of green veg, making the rounds right now, and apparently it has been called the explosive diarrhea bug. But in the back of my head, joking to myself, I'm like, oh, you gave him lettuce. But because he does have dementia, Alzheimer's, and it's not just a brain thing, the body starts doing weird stuff, there is a possibility of aspiration with the whole throwing up. So it's of concern. So we're going to be calling them probably tomorrow or Tuesday, just to kind of check in and say, how's my dad doing? Because I thought it was weird that we were just in there a few days ago, maybe a week ago. I thought it was kind of odd that they called me to notify me of that, just because you guys aren't necessarily forthcoming. I sometimes have to ask you questions that are obvious questions that I obviously already know the answer to, just to get you to actually acknowledge that you do understand that this is happening. I don't know if that made sense to you or not. Hopefully it did. And you called me to tell me that. And I asked him, I'm like, okay. You're calling me about this, which is cool. I'm not upset about that. I want to be in the loop where my dad's health is concerned. However, my follow-up question is, are you calling me because you intend on sending him to the hospital? Because if you are, that's fine. I'm cool with that. Please get him to the VA and not one of the other hospitals, though. And they were like, no, we think we have it under control, but if it gets worse, we'll call you and let you know. It's like when you're out to dinner with your wife or your husband, and one of your kids texts you and says, everything's fine at home. You know what I mean? Everything's great, don't worry about a thing. Why should I be worried? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark. So, I don't know what to think there. You know what I mean? If it's business as usual, why are you keeping me in the loop on this? It's just strange to me. After dealing with my parents' shenanigans, I'm a little suspicious of people in general. You know, when your own parents betray you pretty hard, you start questioning even complete strangers, really, you know. I got people that said that they love me and all that, and they still put a hurt into me. I don't know you. You don't care about me at all. What are your intentions? You know? Makes you a little gun shy. And I don't like me being cynical, but parents stabbed me pretty deep, so. But you haven't given me any problems, so we'll get along fine. Right? We're cool? Yeah. Not AI, I'm real, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. In the words of Mr. Green, I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife. I understand that some people aren't going to have a clue what that's from, and that's fine. An incredibly funny movie with one of the best comedic casts ever on a set together. I'm not saying the only time that kind of things happen, you know, because Noises Off, Young Frankenstein, there's, it's a mad world. 6 Mads? There have been some films that have, like, jam-packed with some of the great ones, but yeah, this one, not a huge list, but 7 or 8 wholly kind of comedians. Oh yeah. And I'm not saying that to con anyone or to attempt to curry favor. Please understand. But I don't even have to, like, mull about in my own head on this one. got some incredible people in that film. Anyway, if you know, you know. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Get some sleep. I pull the laundry. I apologize for that. Need to pull the laundry out of the dryer before I do that. That would be smart. Yeah. But didn't get a huge amount done, but today's supposed to be our day of rest. But I did get a couple of annoying projects out of the way. Stuff that I've been wanting to do, but put a video on really loud and sorting books. But not those books, because God knows I've handled enough of those. There's still a couple shelves in there I got to empty, but they're behind other stuff, so I can't get to it yet. But books that I either already owned or am keeping. That's not as bad. It's like, these are my books. I don't mind sorting those as much. It's the 72,000 other books that I don't want this. I do not want this. Please take them. Anyway. We will be selling some books here in the near future. Oh dear God in heaven. So, hug your parents, squeeze them tight, and make them promise they won't do the same crap to you that my parents have. Anyway, squeeze them tight. I recommend a full Nelson. Hug your kids, let them know you're not going to do that you would never ever be that cruel. Seriously, if this could easily become a 3, 4, 5-year job. I'm going to try not to let that happen, but it really could. So, I know I sound like such a whiner, but imagine you cleaning up after your parents for 5 years. That's your full-time job. It's just going through like a barn worth of BS that they didn't deal with. And if you've been here before, then you understand. I'm only a little bit into this journey, but I've read too many horror stories of people that have spent 5 years, 8 years doing what I'm doing right now. No. Absolutely no. I've done 1 year, I'll do most of another, but after that, some very, very hard choices are going to get made. Possibly some bonfires. Who can say? Not doing that. I'm not committing 5, 8 years of my life to cleaning up after my parents' mess. Nope. It's not really a fair ask when you think about it. It's really not. But anyway. So, I'm going to let that dry the rest of the way overnight. Because I did work on the sink a little bit, and I think it's supposed to be like a drying rack. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Or is it supposed to be a waffler? Like Dane Cook? I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, honestly. Because it does have like ridges and stuff like a waffle iron would. But it's actually inset. It's part of, I don't know. I think it's supposed to be a drying rack. Anyway. Give it another 10, 12 hours of drying before I harass it a little bit more with a paintbrush. Marble's looking good though. Look at that. Not bad for a kid from Allentown. Alright. make it a great day.